The great chamber of the Galactic Council was calm and bright, filled with soft lights and floating symbols of many worlds. Representatives from hundreds of species sat in wide circles, their voices translated into gentle tones by the air itself. To most of them, this meeting was routine. Another report. Another small matter. Another discussion about humans. Humans were not feared. They were not admired either. They were known as polite, careful, and slow. A young species that talked too much and fought too little. They followed rules. They asked permission. They waited their turn. Ambassador Park Jisoo stood at the human station. She was calm, her hands folded in front of her, her dark eyes steady. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft but clear. Earth thanks the Council for allowing this session, she said. We wish to report continued compliance with trade limits and military restrictions. Several Council members barely listened. One tall, scaled delegate adjusted his seat. Another blinked with boredom. Humans always said the same things. Council. Speaker Talon, an old being with silver skin and many eyes, nodded slowly. Your report is noted, Ambassador Park Jisoo. As always, Earth remains. Cooperative. The word carried quiet meaning. Cooperative meant weak. Cooperative meant harmless. Behind Jisoo, a wide image showed Earth's escort fleet waiting beyond Council space. Small ships. Light armor. No heavy weapons. They looked almost fragile compared to the war fleets some empires, displayed proudly. Captain Lee Daeho watched that image from the bridge of the lead human ship. His hands rested lightly on the command rail. He had heard the Council's tone many times before. He felt no anger, only patience. Status unchanged, his officer Yun Mira said. All systems normal. No active scans detected. Daeho nodded. Good. Stay quiet. The human ships did not glow. They did not hum loudly. They did not announce their power. They waited. Back in the chamber, discussion moved on. A trade dispute here. A border clash there. Then a new voice spoke, sharp and confident. The Car Alliance submits a request, said a broad, armored delegate. Regarding Earth. Interest stirred. Park Jisoo lifted her head slightly. Speaker Talon turned. State your request. The humans control rare system routes near their home star, the delegate said. Routes we now require. We propose a transfer of access. Peacefully. Peacefully was another word with hidden meaning. Park Jisoo spoke again. Those routes are vital to Earth's defense and trade. We cannot agree to this proposal. A low sound of surprise passed through the chamber. Humans refusing something was unusual. The delegate's eyes narrowed. Earth has no legal claim strong enough to deny us. We disagree, Jisoo replied. Her voice did not rise. And we will not change our position. Speaker Talon raised a limb. This matter will be reviewed. Until then, restraint is expected. The Car delegate gave a thin smile. Of course. The session ended soon after. Council members drifted away, already forgetting the exchange. To them, it meant little, but Park Jisoo did not relax. Later, in a quiet human briefing room, she stood before a small group of officials. Kim Hana, Earth Senior Envoy, listened closely. Her face was serious. They are testing us, Hana said. Yes, Jisoo replied. And they believe we will bend. Will we? Another asked. Jisoo paused. No. Far from the Council, deep within human space, something stirred. Stations that had slept for decades woke slowly. Signals moved through hidden lines. Old systems checked themselves and waited for commands they had not received in a long time. Captain Choi Seijin stood in a silent hangar, looking at ships that did not officially exist. Their hulls were dark and smooth, without markings. No records listed them. No Council scans had ever seen them. They are pushing again, Sajin said. Yes, came the reply. But not yet. Humanity waited, as it always had. But patience, long held, was not endless. Back in the council chamber, Speaker Talon reviewed reports. Humans still polite, still calm, still following rules. No one noticed the small changes. The way Earth ships moved just a little too precisely. The way their diplomats spoke with just a little more certainty. The council believed it knew humanity. It was wrong. The council had not noticed the first whispers of change from Earth. Reports arrived slowly, each one small, almost nothing. A human survey vessel passed near a car fleet without detection. Communication systems, thought limited, were stronger than anyone believed. But the council dismissed it all. Humans had always been careful. They would never challenge the galaxy. Ambassador Kim Hanna watched the council from her station. Her eyes followed every delegate, every subtle movement. She knew they underestimated Earth. The others were blind to a patient force that waited for the right moment. Captain Lee, she said, speaking to a hologram of the human fleet, the car fleets are moving closer to our borders. They seem confident. Lee Dae-ho nodded. His face was calm. We expected this. No action yet. Only observation. Hannah frowned. Observation has a limit. They may force a reaction. Lee smiled faintly. Then we will give them a reaction, but not before we choose the time. Patience is part of our strength. Far away, the Car Alliance discussed strategy. Their leader, a tall figure named Vark, glared at the images of Earth's defenses. They believed the humans were weak. They assumed the Council's approval meant Earth would yield. No one expected resistance. Prepare the fleet, Vark said. The humans will comply, or they will fall. The humans continued their quiet preparation. Hidden sensors measured every incoming ship. Ships moved in silence, avoiding any signature that would alert enemy scouts. Plans were checked again and again. Systems double-checked. Crews drilled in careful routines. On Earth, Ambassador Park Ji-soo addressed a small group of council observers. We hope no violence will come, she said. We prefer diplomacy. But Earth is not defenseless. Many in the council felt a chill. Humans had never warned them before. Their calm had always been certain, their words always gentle. Now there was weight behind them. Something unspoken, but present. Meanwhile, Captain Choi Sajin reviewed secret fleet preparations. Ships that should have been idle for decades were now fully operational. Engineers worked quietly, shields tested, weapon systems brought online for the first time in centuries. These were not weapons of aggression. They were precise, measured, and strong enough to stop any enemy. Sajin moved among the crew. Stay ready. But remember, we do not strike first unless forced. We defend, we protect, we respond. The council remained largely unaware. Delegates debated among themselves, discussing trade and permissions. They assumed Earth's calm meant weakness. No one looked closely enough at the reports from the field. Then, the ultimatum arrived. It came from the Car Alliance. Delivered in formal tones to the Council and Earth. They demanded resource access, control of certain star systems, and immediate compliance. Their message was polite, yet firm. Submit or face consequences. Ambassador Kim Hanna read the message carefully. She turned to Park Ji-soo. They believe we will yield. They think Earth will follow the rules of the Council blindly. Ji-soo shook her head. We have always followed rules. But this is different. This is coercion. We cannot agree. The Council convened quickly. Debates were heated. Some species argued Earth should comply. Others were unsure. But most assumed the humans would find a way to compromise. As always. Earth cannot fight a car fleet, a delegate said. They will lose. We recommend compliance. Park Jisu's voice rang softly but firmly. Earth will not comply. We seek peace, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. This is not a choice. It is our duty to protect our people. Surprise spread through the chamber. Humans had never refused anything. Even in minor disputes, they had always agreed. Now they were firm, unyielding, and calm. Captain Lee and his fleet watched the car ships advancing. Sensors reported numbers, speeds, and formations. Human ships moved quietly into defensive positions. No alarms sounded, no signals were sent. The car fleet did not notice the hidden positions, the silent weapons, the precise targeting systems that were ready to strike. On the human command bridge, Lee turned to his officers. Prepare for defense, not aggression. Remember, they may think we are weak, but we are ready. The car fleet continued, unaware of the traps waiting for them. Council members outside the human station still whispered about diplomacy, about compromise, about how humanity would eventually give in. None suspected that the humans had been hiding not weakness, but patience and precision. As the first hostile ships crossed the boundary of human space, a quiet signal went out. Hidden systems activated. Sensors tracked every move. Ships shifted positions silently. Weapons aligned without a sound. The car fleet had expected to intimidate, to coerce, to make humans yield without battle. Instead, they found themselves in a trap they had not even imagined. The council finally noticed something unusual. Reports of destroyed drones, intercepted probes, and missing ships reached them in confusion. They looked at Earth's representatives, trying to understand what had happened. Ambassador Park Jisu remained calm. We have taken measures to protect our space. No unnecessary harm has been done. We defend ourselves, nothing more. But the council's delegates now began to whisper among themselves. The quiet patience of humans had been a lie, or perhaps a strategy. They had waited for this moment, and now the truth was becoming clear. In the secret human fleets, Captain Choi Seijin prepared to respond to the next wave. Orders were precise, careful, and deliberate. Every ship, every crew, every system was ready. The humans would not strike to conquer. They would strike to defend, to protect, and to survive. The car fleet was unaware that the balance had shifted. What they expected as submission became resistance, and resistance that was perfectly measured. Every move, every counter, every defense was a lesson in patience, preparation, and human ingenuity. By the time the first real engagement happened, the council could only watch. Humanity had stopped asking permission. They had stopped playing nice. And the galaxy would notice soon enough that the humans had been ready all along, waiting for the moment to protect themselves fully. The day the first shots should have fired, silence filled the human command stations. The car fleet moved confidently into Earth's space, expecting a polite surrender. They did not expect what came next. Captain Lee Deo watched the sensors with calm precision. Every enemy ship was tracked, every movement anticipated. Orders flowed quietly through the fleet. There was no shouting, no panic, just readiness. Engage defensive formations, Lee said. Keep weapons silent until the first attack. Remember, we strike only to protect ourselves. The human ships adjusted positions. They were hidden behind magnetic fields, energy distortions, and sensor cloaks. Enemy scanners could not detect them. Ships that seemed small and weak now moved like predators in the dark. Crew members checked every system. Every weapon was loaded, every shield ready. And still, the car fleet moved unaware. Ambassador Park Jisu and Ambassador Kim Hana observed through council channels. Their calm expressions hid their pride. For decades, humans had learned restraint. For decades, they had hidden their true strength. Now the moment had come. The first car probes entered human-controlled zones. They expected compliance. Instead, they found resistance. Silent lasers disabled the probes. Their communications were jammed. Automated drones, unseen until now, intercepted them and sent them tumbling into the void. The car fleet did not understand. Their arrogance had blinded them. In the council chambers, whispers began. "What is happening?" A delegate asked. "Why are their probes being destroyed?" Speaker Talen's multiple eyes blinked slowly. "It seems Earth's defenses are more capable than previously recorded." Jisu's voice came through the channel. "Earth seeks peace, but peace requires safety. These actions are defensive only." The council tried to keep calm. Many did not. Humans had always been polite, almost timid. Now they were precise, controlled, and dangerous. Panic stirred among the delegates as reports of destroyed drones and missing probes accumulated. The car fleets had no idea what they faced. Deep in the human fleet, Captain Choi Seijin moved from ship to ship. Engineers and officers worked together silently. Weapons systems, once thought ceremonial or experimental, now hung softly with latent power. Shields glowed faintly, just enough to reflect sensors. Human ships glided through space with almost invisible grace. "Prepare for the first engagement," Sagan said. "But remember, only in defense." The first real strike came when a car destroyer moved too close. Its weapons fired, expecting a light resistance. But the human response was immediate, precise, and overwhelming. Beams cut through engines, disabling systems without destroying hull integrity unnecessarily. Enemy ships spun helplessly, unable to respond. The humans had studied every possible move and counter. Every strike was measured. Council observers gasped at the displays. They had never seen technology and tactics like this. Humans, who had seemed weak, were executing maneuvers more sophisticated than many older races. They were calm, efficient, and lethal in defense. Yet no lives were wasted unnecessarily. Ambassador Kim Hanna spoke softly to Park Jisu. "They are learning too late that humans do not need permission to defend themselves." Jisu nodded. "And that patience can be mistaken for weakness. They now understand the cost of underestimating us." The battle unfolded with quiet intensity. Human ships moved like shadows, appearing only when needed. Shields blocked heavy fire effortlessly. Weapons struck with precision. Every attempt by the car fleet to force compliance failed. The humans were not strong in chaos. They were strong in control, in strategy, in foresight. Each engagement was a demonstration of calm skill. Captain Lee Dae-ho monitored every engagement. He issued orders softly, never raising his voice. His fleet responded instantly. Hidden reserve fleets flanked the enemy. Car officers grew frustrated. They expected humans to flee, to negotiate, to make mistakes. But the humans made none. Even the council could not ignore the signs. Council Speaker Talon adjusted his position. "This is unprecedented. They are not just defending. They are controlling the entire engagement." Ambassador Park Jisu smiled faintly. "Earth has always been ready. We only chose to wait. Our patience is not weakness." The Car Alliance faced losses they had not predicted. Small ships fought unarmed, disabled cruisers. Cloaked vessels appeared unexpectedly, striking with precision. The humans were everywhere and nowhere. Every step the invaders took was anticipated. Every plan countered. Captain Choi Seijin observed the retreating car destroyers. He knew they would not risk further attacks without reconsidering. Orders came to maintain positions, not to pursue. Humans did not seek conquest. They sought safety, and only enough action to ensure that safety. The council finally spoke, their voices tight with tension. "Humans," Speaker Talon said, Your actions are remarkable. Your restraint is unusual. The galaxy has underestimated you. Park Jisu remained calm. We do not seek power. We do not seek conquest. We only seek to live in peace. But Earth cannot be threatened without consequences. The battle ended not with destruction, but with understanding. The car fleet retreated, battered and confused. The council watched, unable to deny what they had seen. Humans were not weak, not timid, not polite for fear. They were polite by choice. They were restrained by choice. And in that choice lay true power. As silence returned to human space, Captain Lei and Captain Choi reviewed their fleets. Every ship accounted for, every crew safe, every weapon secure. Not a drop of unnecessary blood had been spilled. Humans had shown that they could fight, and that they could fight with control beyond the comprehension of their enemies. Ambassador Kim Hana spoke over the council feed one last time for the day. Earth has no desire for dominance, but we will protect ourselves. The galaxy should know this now. Politeness is not weakness. Restraint is not ignorance. Humanity acts when required, and we act with purpose. The council members sat in stunned silence. They had believed they knew the humans. They had believed the Earthlings' patience meant submission. Now they knew better. Humanity had been ready, and the moment they acted had changed the galaxy's perception forever. The calm, polite humans had become a force of quiet power, revealed not through aggression, but through measured and undeniable strength. The council had watched with disbelief as the car fleet retreated. Reports poured in from across the galaxy. Human ships had fought without aggression, had struck only to protect, and had defeated enemies thought superior in numbers and firepower. Even seasoned delegates felt a shiver of fear. The humans were not what they had seemed. Ambassador Park Jisu sat quietly at the human station, her hands folded. Her calm face betrayed nothing, but inside she felt the tension. Earth had shown the galaxy its patience, its restraint, and its strength. She knew the council had underestimated humans for too long. Council. Speaker Talon addressed the assembly. Reports confirm what we have all witnessed. The humans have demonstrated defensive capabilities beyond all known records. They have chosen to limit their own use of force, yet they have defeated a fleet that threatened them. This is alarming. A younger delegate, wide-eyed, whispered to its neighbor. We thought they were weak, polite, harmless. How? How did they do this? The council was filled with doubt. Many races began to question their assumptions. Every species had underestimated humanity, assuming politeness was weakness. Now fear settled quietly in their minds. Captain Lee Deo stood on the bridge of his ship, looking at the starfield. The enemy was gone for now, but the tension remained. Keep our systems at alert, he said. They may regroup, but remember, we strike only if necessary. Sajin walked among the crew. Every ship had returned safely. Every crew member unharmed. No unnecessary aggression had been shown. We defend. We do not conquer. He reminded them. In the council chambers, debate was intense. Humans must be controlled, one delegate insisted. They have strength we cannot ignore. If left unchecked, they may rise as a power we cannot manage. Do not mistake restraint for submission, Jisu said calmly through the communication channel. Earth does not seek dominance. We act only to ensure safety. All attacks have been defensive, measured, and limited. Our power is not for aggression, but for protection. Some delegates nodded, realizing the truth. Others still whispered fearfully. They had all misjudged humans, and that error could have been catastrophic. Diplomats who had dealt with Earth for decades now realized they had never truly understood this species. Far from the council, Earth's leaders convened quietly. They discussed strategy, not to attack, but to maintain peace. Kim Hanna spoke softly. The galaxy is beginning to fear us. That is natural. But we must remain patient. Do not let fear dictate our actions. Jisoo nodded. We will continue to act with wisdom. Strength is not shown in conquest. It is shown in restraint and readiness. The moment of fear is temporary. Our path is long. The Car Alliance had retreated, their confidence broken. Reports from their scouts were grim. Ships that had been considered weak had stopped their advance. Machines and crews alike had been disabled with almost no casualties inflicted. Their arrogance had been punished, and now their leaders reconsidered every decision. Captain Lee studied the incoming messages. They will need time to understand their failures. We should maintain our positions, show readiness, but do not pursue. Let them rethink their approach. Seijin agreed. Our job is to defend, not to humiliate. We act to prevent harm, not to seek revenge. That is humanity's choice. Within the council, whispers turned to murmurs. We have underestimated them for too long, a delegate said. We must consider new policies. Earth cannot be treated as before. Some factions called for caution, proposing treaties that ensured humans' autonomy, while others suggested stronger measures to monitor or control them. But the Council understood that confrontation with Earth would now be costly. Perhaps disastrous. Ambassador Park Jisoo addressed the Council again. Earth seeks fairness and peace. We do not demand power or domination. We ask only that all species respect the rights of our people. Threats to Earth will be met with defense. That is all we ask and all we will do. The weight of her words settled in the chamber. For the first time, the delegates could feel the patience of humans, not ignorance, not weakness, but a deliberate choice. That choice had shaped the moment and forced the galaxy to reconsider everything it thought it knew. Across human space, fleets remained ready. Ships patrolled quietly, sensors active, weapon systems online but silent. Human colonies strengthened defenses, not out of fear of conquest, but to prevent future attacks. Humanity had proven its capability and would not allow misjudgment again. Council members realized the balance had shifted. Earth was no longer a species to guide or manage lightly. Diplomacy would require honesty. Misjudgment would carry consequences. Humanity's strength, once hidden, had been revealed in a controlled, disciplined, and precise manner. The galaxy would remember this day. Ambassador Teen Hana concluded, speaking to council channels across the galaxy. Humans will remain peaceful if peace is respected. We will not act in anger or aggression, but we will protect ourselves, our people, and our space. Do not test our patience further. The council absorbed the message. Fear, respect, and awe mingled. Humans had changed their perception forever, not through conquest or anger, but through control, readiness, and restraint. The moment of revelation had come, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. The council had never faced a species like humans. They had always assumed politeness meant weakness, that restraint meant inexperience. Now, the reality of humanity's quiet strength had reshaped their view. Fear and respect mingled in equal measure. Diplomats, leaders, and generals alike struggled to understand what they had witnessed. Ambassador Park Jisoo addressed the council calmly, her voice steady. Earth does not seek power over others. We seek peace. But peace cannot exist where threats are ignored. The galaxy must recognize that Earth will act to protect itself, and our actions will always be measured, precise, and just. Whispers filled the chamber. Some delegates nodded in agreement, seeing the logic in her words. Others stared in disbelief, realizing they had underestimated the humans for centuries. Every species had assumed that patience and politeness were signs of weakness. They had been wrong. Captain Lee Deho stood aboard his flagship, overlooking the fleet. Ships moved in quiet coordination, sensors active, shields ready, weapons silent. Every crew member knew their role. Every system was checked and double-checked. Humanity's demonstration had been defensive, but now the message was clear. Earth would not bow to coercion. Saging walked along the command deck, observing the crew. Their calm efficiency reminded him why humans had survived for so long despite their apparent weakness. "Remember," he said, "we act only when needed. Our strength is not for aggression, only for protection." Across the galaxy, the Car Alliance and other species reconsidered their positions. Diplomats who had once dismissed humans now approached with caution. Treaties were reviewed. New rules were proposed. Fear of misjudging Earth again was strong. The lesson was clear. Humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. Ambassador Kim Hanna addressed the Council. "We propose a new framework for cooperation. Respect for sovereignty, fairness in trade, and consequences for aggression. Earth seeks equality and peace, not dominance. But we will act decisively if threats arise." The Council debated this proposal with intensity. Some were still wary, afraid of hidden human strength. Others saw logic and fairness in Earth's terms. Slowly, a consensus formed. Humans would be respected as equals. The days of underestimation were over. Captain Lee watched the incoming communications. Messages of acknowledgement, of new treaties, of cautious respect from other species filled the channels. Earth had won more than battles. It had earned recognition, trust, and a place where diplomacy would be honest and meaningful. Sajin reviewed fleet status. Every ship was accounted for, every crew member safe. The humans had not pursued the defeated Car fleets. They had maintained discipline, showing the galaxy that true strength lay in restraint as much as in skill. Civilians were unaware of the full scope of the battle. Life continued quietly. Scientists, engineers, and teachers went about their daily routines. Humanity's power had been revealed not in destruction, but in defense, and the galaxy now understood that Earth's restraint was deliberate. In the council chamber, Speaker Talon addressed the assembly. "The humans have changed our understanding of strength. Politeness is not weakness. Restraint is not ignorance. They have shown that patience, discipline, and preparation can make a species formidable without aggression." Ambassador Park Jisu concluded her address. "Earth has always played nice, choosing diplomacy and peace. But now, the galaxy knows that humanity is ready, capable, and disciplined. Respect, fairness, and peace are the only paths we accept. Those who choose aggression will face consequences, and that is all we promise." Outside the council, human fleets returned to patrol patterns, their presence a quiet but undeniable signal. The galaxy had learned a new truth. The humans had been playing nice, not because they had no power, but because they had chosen restraint. That choice had now reshaped the balance of power. As the stars stretched endlessly beyond, humanity remained patient, disciplined, and calm. They had revealed themselves, not as conquerors, but as protectors of their own world and of peace. The moment had come. The galaxy had learned to see humans differently, and that vision would endure for generations. The quiet strength of Earth was now recognized, respected, and feared in equal measure, and the Council understood that the age of underestimating humanity was over forever.